FaceTime is gonna build that trust, and before you guys actually meet. So it's gonna make her feel a little more comfortable and safe to meet with you, rather than just like ignore you completely and dub your text or just ghost you. And maybe that could have been, maybe you guys you could have built a beautiful relationship, but just because you didn't know how to text the girl or just use the tools available at your hand properly, you lost the chance with her. No? So
Yep.
definitely use it appropriately, and definitely do a call or a FaceTime before you actually meet. Right. Good morning, everybody. It's a new week. Yeah, also a new format. Welcome back to Shots of Info. This is Michael. Um, yeah, just a quick disclaimer. This is just conversation between me and Randy, so don't take anything here as as a professional advice, and take what resonates with you and leave the rest, and don't take everything at heart. All right, so let's get started.
Sweet. All right, welcome back, everybody. So in terms of what we have for topics on the day, on the personal development, actually, we changed that. I forgot. It's foundations now, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So on the foundation section, we have, is texting someone you like too much a bad thing? On the fitness, we have hard skills versus soft skills as a personal trainer. And on the finance, we have how many stocks should you day trade at a time? And then news updates at the end there.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I think that covers it. So I'm gonna have you start off and see what you think. So what do you think about texting someone you like too much?
Okay, yeah. So as you're getting to know, you definitely want to know the person in person, or that girl that you're talking to, like front to front, because that's gonna build the trust, and you can start building that sexual tension between you two as well. Whereas if you texting like so often and all the time, it's gonna get when you meet in person, you're not gonna have as much to talk about and to get to know about each other during that like like the personal interaction. So yeah, I would say is bad, but at the same time you don't want to text her. You know what I mean? So text her at a decent amount, like maybe just checking once or twice a day until like you actually meet up in person. The whole goal of texting a girl is to take her on a date, or usually in the guy's perspective is usually to get her on a date, whereas for
Right.
girls it might be a little bit different. I don't know.
No, I would say it'd be the same thing, right?
Right, yeah, so texting is pretty much just a bridge for you to take her on a date and just make plans, but getting to know her, like learning about her, should be done during the actual interaction. So you know be be limited the amount of texting that you do. And also that when you text her, if you like this girl, don't be an asshole. Don't dry text, because dry texting is definitely gonna push her away. And you do want to be a little bit, put a little bit effort on the texting as well. Like every text that you send her should be a little bit like funny, interesting to keep her engaged. Else she's gonna lose interest, and therefore the date it's never gonna happen.
Gotcha.
But yeah, that's my opinion on that.
What do you think about using too many emojis?
Oh no. Emojis are fun. They're fun. I use them. So
Okay.
too many of them can get annoying. But
Like, what if you in every single text with an
oh
emoji?
no,
Do you do that?
no, not like that. Usually, for example, sometimes instead of typing LOL, because sometimes LOL can come up a little bit dry, I send her a like a laughing emoji, or oh, you know which ones I seen that gets more reactions is the gift, the GIFs. Those
Mhm.
are those are better than emojis. So I would
Yep.
definitely recommend you using GIFs instead of emojis. But no, definitely try that boy not using as many emojis on every single time that you text. Should be limited.
Right. All right. So, yeah, like one of the things that I find with texting is that sometimes it can come across not the way you want it to come across, right? Sometimes it can be misinterpreted.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you're trying to say something funny, and then all of a sudden the way it was worded and the way she perceives it or they perceive it, right? Because it's a guy, it's not what you wanted. And instead of them taking it as something that was funny or supposed to be sarcastic, it ends up being something that maybe like offends them more, or something that they find annoying. And like you were saying there, right? So now we have things like emojis, or sometimes you can soften like maybe a joke that might not come across as a joke with like LOLs or ha-has or whatever before or after the text, or the GIFs. That's also another one, right? So that helps kind of convey more of what that text was supposed to be, what kind of emotions it was supposed to elicit. But at the end of the day, reading can just be pretty boring and mundane, and if done incorrectly, it can potentially just kind of ruin a potential relationship that you could have had with this person because they took it the wrong way.
Right.
So I would definitely say that one of the things you want to do is limit the texting that you do with somebody, whether this be somebody that you just got to know for the first time, right? Maybe you met them at an event, at a party, in class. You don't know them that well. This is like your first or second time interacting with them, or even somebody that you've known for a while. Maybe you've been dating this person for a while, whatever the case might be. You kind of want to limit these things because, one, you're going to run out of topics, because if you start asking them like everything, right? Like, especially like starting off from the very beginning, like, hey, how are you today? Right? Like the most basic and mundane text. And then you continue that until you get into a full like paragraph discussion about like what your likes and dislikes are, and like what do you think about this, that, and the third. You could be talking about this in person, and you can be engaging with them a lot more. And more to the point, if this is somebody that you have an attraction to, and within the situation, you can obviously maybe escalate the situation if you see an opportunity there, and get to where it is that you want this relationship to go, as opposed to you kind of just being in limbo, texting all the time, chatting, and hoping that maybe something will come of it. So
Right.
in terms of just answering the question in itself, is texting someone you like too much a bad thing? I'd say definitely. You definitely just want to have that communication in person. Or the next best thing that you can do nowadays is like a FaceTime, right? That way you guys can, get better reactions or see what you actually mean when you're saying these things, or she can see your face when you're saying these things, as opposed to just being, again, like a wall of text that can be pretty boring.
Right. You brought something that it's very, very has become very, very useful nowadays, which is FaceTime. If you have an iPhone, or even a phone call, it gets a little bit more personal, especially if you're just getting to know this person. You want to build the trust, and before meeting. And nowadays, with this crazy world, sometimes scares are gonna be scared to meet a stranger, right? Especially if you haven't met them before. So a phone call or FaceTime is gonna build that trust, and before you guys actually meet. So it's gonna make her feel a little more comfortable and safe to meet with you, rather than just like ignore you completely and dub your text or just ghost you. And maybe that could have been, maybe you guys you could have built a beautiful relationship, but just because you didn't know how to text the girl or just use the tools available at your hand properly, you lost the chance with her. No, so
Yep.
definitely use it appropriately, and definitely do a call or a FaceTime before you actually meet with her on a date. So just so she feels a little more comfortable. And
You
yeah,
too, right? Because you never know. Maybe there's a catfish.
oh, yeah,
You think that she looks like this, and she ends up looking like something totally different.
yeah,
Um,
definitely.
I would say one last point to add though is
Mhm.
again, with all of these things, you want to limit it, because again, the whole point is to try to get to in person, in real life situation. So these FaceTime calls shouldn't be lasting you like half an hour, 2 hours, because you want to get to know her, so you're asking her all the questions you would ask her in person. Again, that should be limited, brief, but you should at least be able to convey everything that you want, so that you can facilitate you guys meeting up in person. Because again, if you see this being something that you want to pursue further, then the only way that's going to happen is for you guys to actually meet up and talk. So
Yeah, actually, one thing that kind of came to mind when we talk about like FaceTime is that back in high school, I used to stay up with a girl, like talking to my girl until like 4 or 5 in the morning. And I don't know
Mhm.
how I will be doing that nowadays because my usual bedtime is like 11 on weekdays and like a little
Mhm.
bit later on weekends. But I cannot longer be up, staying up until like 4 or 5 in the morning. That's usually the time I'm already like waking up. So
Mhm.
it just came to my head randomly, as you know, it's something that you look back and something that you used to do. Well, I used to do a lot, and I don't know how I used to manage that. I was very young, so I guess it didn't
Yeah.
affect me much
That energy. You have a
those
lot of
months.
energy and shit. That's
Yeah.
cool. And hormones, right?
But yeah, and now it's funny too, because like I always see the girl on the next day at the school.
Hmm.
You know what I
Now,
mean? So,
and wait, in situations like that, did you guys like have a lot to talk about in person, or did you talk usually mostly on the phone?
well, it was mostly on the phone, and then when on person we just like
Made out.
yeah,
Your couple
not
shit.
personal.
Got it. Got it. Got it.
There wasn't much talking on person, so
Fair
yeah.
enough.
I mean, that was just young times. I feel like a lot of
Young love. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, man. Those old crazy times, but yeah, no,
Hmm.
like once again, we are adults now. Well,
Young
I'm
adults, really. We haven't changed that much, honestly.
so we learning because now also like the girls they're not gonna have that time to spend on the phone like that.
Right.
Everybody has their own shit going on, and like just keep limited, and at the same time don't make it a priority, I guess. So if you're
Hmm.
busy, you receive a text, you're not able to respond. If she's the right girl, she's gonna understand it because you're busy. You cannot understand. You got schedule,
You're on your purpose.
right? And another thing that we talked before is that don't fake that you're busy. You
Hmm.
know, if you get a chance to reply, reply. Because if you're interested, you are going to reply eventually. Because you know, it all comes down to like who you are, and you don't want
Yep.
to
The
start
more
the relationship.
genuine, the better.
Exactly, you don't want to start the relationship not being honest about it. So like as we mentioned, also like going on a date, you gotta do things that you actually enjoy doing, and not do or go somewhere that just because she likes doing that. I mean, sometimes I feel like getting out of your comfort zone might be good, and she can help you get you out from the comfort zone. So depends on how it is, depending on how
Hmm.
you see it, I guess.
For sure. For
Yeah.
sure.
All right.
All right.
So I think we answered the question and a little bit more,
Hmm.
but let's move on to fitness,
All right.
hard skills and soft skills as a personal trainer.
Sweet. All right. So now we're jumping a little bit more into, actually being a trainer and developing that concept or idea a little bit better,
Mm-hmm.
just in case if you ever have, like, if you ever decide to take a personal trainer, like you ever decide to hire a personal trainer for yourself, or you want to become a personal trainer, kind of giving you some ideas as to how that would look and stuff. So hard skills versus soft skills. So I would say that this basically applies to most jobs or most professions. There are the technical skills, and then there are like the softer skills, like your ability to communicate,
Mm-hmm.
your leadership abilities, your ability to present and organize ideas in a really concise way so that people can, digest it or it's consumable to people. It's not just all this information and you don't organize it, so people kind of just have to take it for what it is. Um, so obviously with fitness, there's a lot of technical aspects to it, right? When you're exercising, you got to make sure you're performing proper technique, making sure your form is proper, is good, and making sure that you understand how to manage your body relative to whatever the exercises you're doing. Because I can't be telling somebody to do pull-ups if they can't even do push-ups. So as a like as a hard skill as me being able to be a good trainer, if I see that and I try to force that on them, I'm not really being a good trainer and I'm not adjusting to where they are, right? I'm not going to their level. Instead, I want them to come to my level, which they're probably not prepared for. Actually, I'll give you an example for today. So usually every start of the month, I have my clients, or at least once a month, but usually at the beginning of the month, I have them do a fitness test. And we've talked about this in the past, right? How to set one up for yourself. So this client, she's a female. She was on the treadmill doing her 1 mile run. And usually the way I have her go about it is we warm up for about 2 minutes, 2 to 3 minutes on a decent little speed just to get the blood circulating. And then after that, I have her start running at whatever pace she can manage. So usually within a speed of 3 to 6 on the treadmill, which ranges from, a light walk or like a little bit of a faster paced walk to actually just jogging pretty quickly. So she went immediately to the highest level. And, before that point, she really didn't do that often. She usually struggles with cardio because it's not something that she's good at.
Mm-hmm.
But, new year, I guess she was feeling pretty good. She wanted to really tackle this year and really get after it. So, I leave that space for them to kind of test their limits. So 3 to 6. If they want to start off at 6 right off the rip, not a problem. That's on you. So she did that for like 5 minutes. And then she pulled back because she couldn't maintain that pace. It was too intense. So that goes to, understanding the technical skills of like your physical ability. You can't push yourself if you don't know. Well, you have to push yourself, but if you push yourself too far too quickly when your body's not capable of it, that's where you're going to quickly break down. And when we finished, she couldn't finish the mile run simply because she blew herself out. She was completely burned out. She was lightheaded, had to have her sit on the floor, and she really couldn't just continue the work there because she pushed herself way too hard. So in terms of that, as a personal trainer, it's my job to make sure that in terms of understanding the hard skills, those technical skills, you got to be able to tell them like, listen, you pushed yourself way too far and you try to do too much too fast. And that's what ended up happening. And then that immediately goes off to the other side, to the soft skills, my ability to communicate that to them. It's on me to tell them like, listen, it's not necessarily that you failed. You're not a loser for not being able to run this mile within this period of time or within this pace. It just so happens that you came in here with the right mentality, but your body wasn't prepared. All that matters is that your mental state, your mental fortitude and ability is there. Because if you can keep that, then all you have to do is give your body time to adjust, right? And then at some point, your physical ability and your mental fortitude will kind of match up. And then you'll be able to complete whatever this goal is or whatever the task is without any issues. But again, the key factor there is time and communication. If I'm not able to communicate that properly, then to her, all she ended up doing was failing. She failed a task that I gave her. And then everybody loses, right? I suck as a trainer because she didn't reach that metric. And, as a client, she feels shitty for letting me down and letting herself down. And again, at the end of the day, you want people to actually feel good about what they're doing. Not, oh, you failed and you suck and you're a loser. So then I'll throw it right to the end of the workout after we were finishing up. We end up doing some leg presses. And for some reason, she has an aptitude to just having really good strength. So we get on the leg press and we end off her being able to complete, I think like 10 sets. And we got all the way up to 365 pounds in the leg press, which, I mean, like from your reaction there, most guys can't do that.
Yeah, honestly.
Right?
I don't think I'm able to do that yet.
I think you could, but it wouldn't be that easy.
Well, I've been off for a while now, so I need to start slow. Yeah.
But yeah, she completely dominates the leg press. Like her ability, her strength, her physical strength, her raw strength. She has a genetic predisposition to having a lot of strength in her legs. So, I'm telling her, listen, everybody has their strengths and weaknesses, and one of your weaknesses is your cardio. Obviously, that just speaks to the fact that one, you're not training cardio that often, and two, you might not have the greatest genetics when it comes to your cardiovascular output. But look on the bright side, your strength is there. And, if we just focus on, kind of balancing out your weaknesses and developing your strengths a little bit better, you'll be in a perfect spot. Because at the end of the day, her goal is just to be balanced out. She wants to have just good health, which should be the goal for everybody. She just wants to be healthy and fit. And she's in a perfect position to do that if she just continues doing what she's doing with a little bit of guidance from me. And yeah, so in terms of, again, hard skills versus or technical skills or hard skills versus soft skills, always have to have a good balance of that.
I think they're going overlap at some point, and this is not just related to personal trainer. I know for a personal trainer, it has to be some technical skills and soft skills, like what to say, like specific for to be a personal trainer, like a great personal trainer. But they can transfer later on in other careers also. Like you need this in order to be a good at whatever career profession or whatever career it is, right? Because like for example mine as a computer science, I need my technical skills as well. Developing those soft skills is as crucial as the technical skills.
Technical skills.
So they are going to overlap because you need to balance them well so they can work together because they are going to work together later on in life. And I feel like you oh but yeah, so being able to balance it off should be as important to in order to be great and improve as whatever you're choosing to do. In this case it will be a personal trainer, but yeah, I know like with time you start developing these technical skills, and depending on the people that you see or that you train, you're going to start learning what works and what doesn't work as well, right? Whereas I feel like soft skills, they most of the time they're going to be consistent or what is more very important, like communication, patient, being able to kind of communicate. Well, that's communication, being able to like how to deal with people. So that's usually for every industry, whatever it is, it's going to be consistent, whereas the technical skills, they're going to vary for you and you're going to start developing better skills and improving yourself as you deal with more different variety of people as well.
Right. One other thing that I would like to just put there is so like think about the difference between a good teacher and a bad teacher. I would say that on a like base foundation, on a fundamental level, they probably have the same technical skill, but the thing that differentiates them is their ability to communicate, their soft skills, their ability to teach you well, right? Like the difference when you're being taught by somebody that is a good teacher and like a good presenter. They can organize the ideas and the thoughts in a really concise and digestible way where you like look at the information, you're like, I get this, no problem. Versus somebody that like they're smart but they can't communicate, they can't talk well, everything comes out as just like words. It's like a word vomit, and you're just like, okay, I understand that you know what you're talking about, but I don't know, and you're trying to teach me this, whatever this topic is, and you suck at it, and that's just going to make it even harder for me to learn because the concept itself is difficult to learn, and on top of that, you're making it even harder because I don't understand what you're saying. So, and also one of the other things is like you can learn more on the technical level by being able to teach other people. You kind of reinforce those ideas and those concepts that you already know. And the better you are at teaching other people that, the better you become at those technical skills. So in theory, if you don't become good at soft skills, then you won't be able to develop your technical skills as much. So
absolutely agree with you with that, and we can actually cover this on a specific topic regarding the dangers of not improving on your soft skills, because that's something that in my career it's noticed a lot, especially when you being on my major, it's something that you see a lot. But let's move on to the last topic of the day, which is on finance. How many stocks should you trade a day at a time? I can go first because mine is very short and simple because I'm not a trader, but I just play around with two. So right now it's either JNOG or JDST, which are the inverse of each other, or I would check oiled. Forgot their names, but
UWT and DWT.
there you go, that one. And also the markets. So that would be TQQ, T triple Q or S triple Q. So usually I'm looking at this. Now my portfolio for trading is cash portfolio. So that means that my trading is limited. So the cash that I have available is the money that I'm able to trade. So usually it limits the amount of stocks I want to trade because also, I mean, the only danger that I don't have is that I'm not gonna get uh, what is it,
PDT.
pattern? Yeah, PDT, pattern day trader. So that's the only advantage of a cash account. But in order for you to trade a lot of stocks on a day or have multiple day trades, you need big capital. So like over 20, we're talking about like 25 to 50K in order to see profitable, like profits, you know. But in my case, I'm not trading with such big amounts. So I'm just
Mhm.
dealing with like the inverse of each other, and I'm trading on swing trading each of them. So day trading, I probably just do one day trade and then try to catch the other one and just plan my day ahead of that. This year, I'm definitely focusing more. I'm putting a little bit more money on my day trade portfolio. So we'll see how that goes. But I would recommend
Having a
just,
party over there, man.
yeah, sorry about the background. My sisters are in the back. But yeah, hold on. All right, you can go now.
All right, sweet. So yeah, so again, like the way you go about it is trading inverses of each other based off those commodities, right? So for me, that's the approach that I took for a long time, and it kind of just didn't work out for me as well as I thought it would. Which, not to say that's a bad thing. To each their own. You find your strengths and your weaknesses, and that's not really one of my strengths. So, what is one of my strengths is being able to find good stocks that kind of have catalysts upcoming. So for a long time there, I was trading Neo and Tesla, and the reason for that is because these guys have events, they have news, they have things going on in the company or upcoming things in the company. And again, the stock market is really just based off predictions and forecasting the future, not necessarily what's happening right now in this moment. So when that's the case, all you have to do is really just trade the news. So if things are projected to do well, then you trade with it. And if things are projected to do bad, well, you can either trade against it or you trade something else. So on a daily basis, I'm usually only trading 1 to 2 stocks. I'm usually finding the best value. So either things that drop off a lot or things that have a good potential to run a lot. So usually that's anywhere from about 5 to 10, 20% within a day. And again, I want to make sure that I'm being really diligent not to overtrade as well. Because, sometimes what ends up happening is that hypothetically say you set a goal for yourself. For me, that's making anywhere from about $100 to $500 a day on, any given trade. Hypothetically, let's say I hit that goal. And then I continue trading because I'm trying to make more money. What ends up happening there is that I end up losing my profits. And even more so, I can end up losing some capital on top of that, simply because I wanted to do too much. So you have to be really diligent to not overdo it. You gotta give yourself some sort of, I wouldn't
Margin.
say ceiling, but you gotta give yourself some sort of structure. Because the biggest problem with the market is that it's up to you, especially like, you're going about trading. It's on you. You have to understand your limitations. You have to be the student and the teacher simultaneously. And if you can't do that for yourself, then that's where you're going to start experiencing some ridiculous red days where your account goes down 20, 30, 40% in a day because you can't really manage your emotions that well. You don't plan anything out. You're kind of just going with the wind. If something pulls back, you sell everything and that's where you lose your money. And then you come back like a week later and the stock has not only bounced back, but it's doubled from where you sold. In the moments like that, that's what becomes really disheartening. So you have to be really diligent about having good trading strategies, good risk management, good plans, and sticking to them no matter what.
Right, and I think that's the major or the big dangers of trading too many stocks at once or like in a day is that you might be winning on one that you put a lot of work on and that give you a decent amount of return, whereas in the other hand you are losing money. So at the end of the day you didn't make any profits because you lost money in one and you made some money in the other one, or you can even lose your
Mm-hmm.
capital like you mentioned before. So I feel like putting your energy just in one specific stock that you believe is going to do good and just spend the next couple hours or whatever time that you set for trading doing the research and seeing when will be the best time to buy and when will be the best time to sell, or how high it's gonna, reach on that day. And that should be like where your energy should be going most of the time when you trading, especially just looking for
Yep.
the resources, looking, especially if you're trading news. That's when where you want to like be reading articles, seeing what contracts are happening with the company that you focusing on, and seeing future potentials that you can trade the next day. Whereas like for me, I usually go with the charts. So if I see that gold increase a certain percentage, I think I tell myself, I'm like, this is how much it can go at this moment on this economy. And I look at the chart, analyze it, and then I make my decision to put my money against gold, which would be
Yeah.
JDST.
UDST.
So, so that's how I trade. How I've been doing it just for me to like keep kind of like building the habit of trading, putting more time on it. But definitely, ultimately, what I will start doing on this New Year's is what Rand is doing, which is day trading. Um, so 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 yeah, that's pretty much it. That like the plan for this year.
Yep, same. My plan is just continue doing what I'm doing, maybe expand a little bit more. So I'm going to be trying 3 different things now. I'm going to have a portfolio, kind of stock investment thing going on, a swing trading growth challenge, and then my daily uh, day trading portfolio. And then, just kind of playing around, see what works best for me. Because again, a lot of this is just kind of experimenting, seeing what works. Again, like I told before, I've tried a bunch of different styles when it comes to day trading, right? So I've done, just trading the commodities, the inverses, and the ones that go with the actual commodity. I've tried trading multiple stocks simultaneously. So hypothetically, you put $1,000 into 5 different stocks, and you tried to, have more winners and losers. Try to double the winnings and minimize the losses. And obviously, the more things that you're in, the harder it's going to be to manage. But one
And
of the
then
things that ends up happening, being a little bit true with the stock market, is that it is a numbers game. So as many times as you can predict something to be right, sometimes it's not going to be right.
absolutely. And one thing also, like if you're starting to trade, you shouldn't just focus on your investment portfolio, because you should ultimately have both portfolios, one that you where you can trade and one that you can invest for the long term. In
Mm-hmm.
paying close attention to your investment portfolio can help you grow and uh, see what's working and what's not working every week or every month. I suggest like every week to check on your portfolio. That's something that I didn't do last year, and I was analyzing my charts, analyzing my trades on my investment portfolio, and I see that I was kind of like how you said that put losing my focus on there. So I was thinking long term, long term, long term. I don't have to check on it frequently. Yes, you don't have to check frequently if you put the money on the right chips, but you do want to keep seeing how diverse it is and what is happening with the news as well. Because sometimes you can be losing money where you don't need to or
Have to.
have to
Yeah.
necessarily. You know what I mean? But yeah, all right. I think that covers it. Unless you have something
Mhm.
else to add up.
No, that's it. Just like you were saying, like if you're going to do a little bit of a long-term portfolio, look at those stocks and see which ones are performing the best. I would say even like, every couple of weeks, maybe even within like every week to 3 months, you can do a little analysis, see how
Mhm.
everything's performing. And if you
Right.
decide to maybe start doing a little bit of a trading portfolio or trading, account, then you can take it from that portfolio that you have, right? Look at the best stocks, which stocks are performing the best, and then you can take a couple of those, maneuver that over to your trading account in terms of like the stocks you're willing to trade, and then just take it from there.
Correct. Very good. All right. So some news for the day or for the week. Well, there's I was looking at this post by Political, which is a news resource. There's a record number of women on the Congress.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty good diversity that we, that it's happening now, and it's really good because we really getting into like diverse. I would say like more different perspectives and something that this country needed the most. So we have more women serving also in the House historically. In latest news of the day, well Sunday, was the Pelosi. was reelected as the speaker of the House, despite the narrow
Okay.
majority. All right. So that's that. Then we also have Bitcoin reaching to 30K in the past days during the weekend. So it's already what? Today is the moment that we're recording it is January 3rd. So at this point, Bitcoin is already 13% up on the year. You know how crazy is that? So 3 days in, and it's already 13% days on. So we will see what is going to happen with Bitcoin. We talked about that yesterday a little bit more. Good. Now that's that. The stimulus checks went on New Year's. If you had a deposit, like direct deposit, you probably got it already. And if you didn't, you should be getting it in the next coming weeks. Employment rates are going to be announced tomorrow. So Monday today. So we're definitely gonna take a look on that and see what happened. See increase, decrease, what is going on, and especially with this new stimulus bill where you are getting $300 for employment extra. All right. Other than that, actually, my bad. Let me correct that. That jobless claims, so the unemployment rate is going to be on January 7th. The December unemployment rate is going to be on January 8th.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah. And then we have new earnings report this week, but they're not major companies. You can look them up.
Sounds good. All right. So from my end, not really much is happening as of yet. I mean, you already kind of fucked up. You said that we were recording this on the 3rd, and then you said it was Monday. So technically, this is Sunday night into Monday morning that we're recording this. So going into the week, we're kind of just forecasting what's potentially going to happen starting tomorrow. As you were saying, Bitcoin surpassed 30K. It hit highs. I think it touched 35K. I'm not 100% sure, but we were super close to 35.
It should be. No, it didn't pass 35.
Okay, so it almost touched 35,
45.
Which is absolutely crazy, right? Because literally, the 1st of January, we were under 30K, and it was kind of struggling. So maybe that was going to be a ceiling, but then immediately it kind of just broke it, and now we're pushing higher and higher. So that potential where people are saying that Bitcoin's going to hit 50K, 100K, 400K. I saw some predictions. I'm not sure if that's going to be a possibility, but
it might not be anytime soon, but it might be like in the next decade or 20 years from now, 2 decades. Like they eventually will reach 100K. And we mentioned yesterday that, well, not yesterday, last week on Friday that it's because it's a limited resource, and a lot of economies in the world are looking for an alternative other than gold or other than the paper currency that we have at the moment.
Right.
We're moving into a virtual world, so it makes a little bit sense.
Yes, sir, man. All that convenience from the internet.
Yeah, not just the internet. It's just like new technologies, and all that. But yeah, so let's cut it off right here. Really great to have you guys. It's a new week. We're starting strong for this year, so let's keep this energy going. Peace out, my end.
Peace out. Take care. We shall talk tomorrow.
Yeah, have a great week, everybody.